make a good report to, especially if you have a good case. So I'm digressing a bit. Coming to the circle issue, the Swami issue.
It's crazy.
If you know that you have a good case, you know that, for instance, just a quick detour.
No, it's important. I think it's all connected, right? Because this happened in Tamale, but then right here at Circle, we're also seeing, and even in Kumasi, we're seeing people taking the laws into their hands.
They have been informed, or they know that it's a clear breach of the GIPC Act. That's true. So who do they complain to when the ministry does not seem to be doing anything? So that's where all these challenges come in. Who are they going to complain to? The nation needs to address all these things. It's very, very important that we address these things, because they are not asking for anything unlawful. In fact, what they're saying is that if you feel this law is wrong, it's not enforceable, let us just change the laws. Because it's true, the Nigerians are our brothers, and that's true. Where there are intermarriages.
And Nigerians are not the only people in the country. We have Lebanese, we have Chinese, right? So it's not only, if you want foreigners out of the country, the thing to do is actually follow the right channel. So the same thing with these Tamale boys, not Tamale boys, but the Kandahar people have even disassociated themselves from them. But this youth group,
the leadership
if you feel as though the hospital is not serving your need, and this hospital is also not really doing what it's supposed to do because they are not equipped well, we should educate them that these are the channels you should go through. And I think because this isn't the first time, they've seen other people do it. Maybe they weren't punished. They got away with it. So they too think that they can just take matters into their own hands and cause this. I mean, now we're talking about it, right? We could be talking about other productive things going on in the country, but we're giving them the attention that they need. But the patients, the people who are sick right now, don't have the nurses and the doctors to take care of them because these guys decided to be policemen.
Yeah, it's sad. It saddens me. Now we have a response also from the regional minister after the incident. We'll take a quick look at that as well.
President Nana Akufo-Addo has made it very clear on several platforms that he happens to be addressing the nation, addressing communities or platforms, that no group, either individual or group of persons, should act in a manner that it will go against the laws of this country, be it party people or non-party people. So this action that took place yesterday, government doesn't associate itself with it. The MPP as a party in Northern Region doesn't associate itself with it. And then also the Regional Security Council and the security members, together with the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly, East Musek, we have teamed up to see how we will activate the investigative machinery to identify the perpetrators of the act so that the law will deal with them decisively. But first of all, I also want to thank the hospital, that is the Tamale Teaching Hospital, doctors and nurses and all the workers for maintaining their composure yesterday when the incident happened, and they stayed back to attend to patients. And we want to thank them for demonstrating that high level of commitment to serving humanity. Apart from that, we have come here as a joint security committees. That is the Metropolitan Security Committee as well as the Regional Security Council, to reassure the working staff, from the doctors to nurses to cleaners, everybody in the hospital, that they should go about their normal duties. The security will maintain 24/7 security surveillance, constant.
Someone say what the president has called for, all the vigilantism to stop, and then the National Youth Organizer of the NPP is also saying that they are calling for the arrest of Same. The regional minister calls for the arrest of Same.
Honestly, I think it's not enough for Henry Nana Boakye to come and say, there are members of NPP in there, but they are not connected to any group. If you know that some of these guys belong to the NPP, then we can identify them. At least let's start with those guys, because I'm assuming other people can point them out and say, this guy is a member. Then you educate them, because this is a failure on all of us.
No, you don't educate them, you arrest them.
Yes, you arrest them, and then you educate the rest that this isn't what should be done, right? So coming out to say, we disassociate ourselves with
strong,
this, we condemn this.
Yeah.
It's not the first time it's happened.
I don't like that English at all.
This is like the 5th time this has happened. And for a young, I mean, this is Ghana where you grow up, you know, you fear your parents, you fear your teachers, you fear pretty much any adult you meet, because we are taught from childhood that obedience is the key. So for a young person to have the audacity to walk into a CEO's office, I mean,
we have sacked
seriously.
You. We have sacked you. Here you don't have syringes and needles, so we are sacking you.
Did you appoint me? Are you the one that appointed the CEO?
I personally, I think this we are calling for the arrest and we are whatever,
ridiculous.
all those things are not. I think then the back stops then with the police. I mean, we can't ask Nanado to go and catch them. The president, His Excellency, to go and catch them. We can't. But then the police have been mandated to do so.
He's not responsible for the day-to-day operations.
Exactly. Even though he's there, he's not responsible for the day-to-day operations of the police. He's a non-executive policeman, but he's there. He's still the commander-in-chief of the security services, or at least the Ghana Armed Forces. When you have the interior minister also in charge of the police, and that you can't identify the people, it's embarrassing. What other evidence do you need? People are.
I mean, we're in that work.
In less developed countries, sorry, particular
we
one.
have a video, we have an audio,
there's audio,
we have names.
And we are saying we can't identify the people. It's embarrassing for the police.
It's really sad.
It's a big embarrassment for the Ghana Police Service.
Yeah, but beyond the police as well, I think we need to really talk to the people in the community, right? So if you are in Tamale or if you're a worker there and you are afraid of these guys, and as a result you don't want to...
Police need to arrest, especially because, you see, then it creates a sort of impression that you have been told or informed by, let's say, a big man. Party
said he's seen some members, like some of the guys are members of NPP. Right? He was talking to Umaru Sanda yesterday, and he said that. So, I mean, this is a party of integrity. This is a party of principle. You don't want to embarrass yourself and your community and your party in such a manner. So I think we really need to make an example out of these guys. We should look at the nurses' strike, and it's important that they also stood up, because if they didn't, then this would have just been another case of a CEO being a victim of this.
I almost side with the nurses on this particular one.
Yeah, and we almost never don't side with them.
Yes, there's a quick video of the nurses reacting to this particular sad incident. So let's take a quick look at that video as well.
It's not the first time, and our fears is that it won't be the last time. From Dr. Nsiasari, who is now the Director General, to now, those incidences have been happening. And we are not happy with it. And it seems to be happening with impunity. And we are of the view that if the powers that be in the nation do not let the law of our land work in that regard or with respect to this matter, I'm sure it's going to continue. And again, it is the landlord of the facility or the CEO of the hospital who was manhandled in the manner you saw on the videos that went viral. If it is me who is just a nurse there or a midwife there, they can decide to throw me off the floor, any floor they meet me, and wait for where I land. So our concern is to get that issue addressed once and for all. All the miscreants or the trouble causers behind that should be arrested and prosecuted in respect of the laws of our land. So we have withdrawn our services with immediate effect in the hospital as nurses and midwives. And until those conditions are met, we are not going to rescind our decision.
Well, so that is the natural consequence, the sad but natural consequence of this incident. I mean, he was probably at the event and he saw how the nurses and the doctors were manhandled, as he puts in that particular story. So I think it's really sad, but also creates the bigger picture. Now, this is Tamale Teaching Hospital. In Accra, we have Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Kumasi, we have the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. Now, when you go up north, you have the Tamale Teaching Hospital. Now, the people of the upper part of Bronga, Hafo, and the likes would go to the Tamale Teaching Hospital for serious cases. And then we have the Upper East and the Upper West and all these regions. So, it has created a form of ripple effect. This one little indisciplined action has created a form of ripple effect that has affected about 4 or 5 regions in the area. And it's very embarrassing that the police will still not have anybody yet arrested, thinking it's a little security glitch, but now it has serious health implications we don't know how many people may have
Hundreds,
died or
even
may
in the
even die
thousands.
because of this particular incident.
And I think it's not something we should talk about lightly at all. This is something that this has become a national security problem because, as you rightly mentioned, people in Brong Ahafo, Upper West, Upper East, Northern parts of the Volta region can't access healthcare now because of this youth group. So they should be charged accordingly. Like, you're depriving all these people, all these patients of healthcare because you felt as though you could just do as you see fit, right? So I think we should really, hold them responsible for the actions that they've taken beyond what they've done to the CEO of the hospital and the nurses and the doctors. This is a regional crime that they've committed.
Yeah. So it's important that the police be aware that as it stands right now, the politicians have put the burden on them that, we are charging you to arrest, we are charging you to arrest. So if these same people are telling you not to behind closed doors, we don't know, we are not aware of it, we have no evidence of same, so we can't assert that, claim. But then what we can assert is that it's actually your job.
Yeah.
It's actually your job. There are several videos out there on social media and the likes. It's actually your job to make sure that these people are brought to book and brought to book immediately.
Yeah.
Because if they are brought to book immediately, the punishment for them is indeed strict and swift. Now there'll be a form of comfort when a person is posted to Tamale to be a nurse, to be a doctor. The person feels very, very secured. That's very important. Anyway, so remember, we are taking your comments still with the hashtag Breakfast Daily, and do not forget that the WhatsApp line also is
0550-585-832. Let us know your thoughts on this topic. Do you think the police is doing enough? And what allowed this to even happen to begin with? How do we nip this in the bud so it doesn't happen again? Breakfast Daily still continues. We're going to look into the news review right after these messages. Okay. Good morning.
oh,
He was here last week, right?
yeah.
Okay.
My name is Juliet Yahasantua Asante. Keep watching Breakfast Daily on City TV.
Hello and welcome to another day, another week, and of course another episode of 30 Minutes. We're excited and we will be talking about all the trending conversations.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Shatta, why are you being so raw and hard like that? But at the particular time, that's what I wanted to do it. But that doesn't mean you are my enemy. We can still meet again and Shatta, this time we are about to do, don't come and do that nonsense. Okay, please, I won't do it. And we'll give restitution.
This is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guest, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day.
I said, property tax, I will pay. If you come to my house, I'll cut you a check. But when did I do my presentation? February.
Yes.
Or February, yes, sometime. Nobody has come to my house.
Really?
Ghana is broke. And, that's the reality we must all come to live with.
The Point of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on City TV.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily. Thank you so much for spending your Wednesday morning with us. Now we're going to introduce our guests for the news review briefly, but we'll start off with the newspaper review and then go on to the online news review, starting with the Daily Graphic.
Okay, well, the Daily Graphic has it here that Pastor Otabil speaks experts say he can't be absolved for collapse of Capital Bank. The full story is on page 3. We know that yesterday there was a statement put out there that he was not an executive director and did not take part in the day-to-day running of Capital Bank, but he has come under probably even more backlash after that statement. Now let's take a look at another story here. Full stories on page 19 of the Daily Graphic. It says, release our tier 2 contribution, else NAT threatens. So we know the Ghana National Association of Teachers have made this claim very, very strongly. Also, Parliament to begin inquiry into collapse of 7 banks. We'll take a look at that story shortly.
Okay, on to the Ghanaian Times. Release our 1.7 billion Ghana cedis in 72 hours or face sit-down strike. That's coming from that, and that story is on page 18. Police to enforce law on unauthorized use of sirens. That story is on page 4. And finally, President cuts sword for construction of J.A. Kufuor Estates. That story is on page 16. And I think there's a quote here that says, I had no day-to-day operations role in defunct Capital Bank. That's coming from Dr. Mensa Otabil, and that story is on page 18 of the Ghanaian Times.
Now let's take a look at the Daily Heritage this morning. FIFA pulls red card on Ghana, threatens ban over liquidation of GFA. Full stories on page 3, and you can see a face-to-face between Gloria Ekufu, Attorney General, and of course Dr. Kofi Amwa. He is the head of liaison team for GFA. Now, Busy Internet say from near collapse as strategic investor steps in. Full stories on page 2, and also Adekoka sued for contempt over Tema Central NDC elections, also on page 2. And finally on page 3, Leiden Educational Consultancy gives hope to Ghanaians.
On to the Gold Street business. New mechanism to mediate tax disputes. That's coming from the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. Government develops roadmap to ease cost of doing business. That story is on page 4. And finally, over 300 investor organizations to congregate in Ghana as Accra readies to host World Trade Center General Assembly in 2021. That story is on page 2 of the Gold Street business.
Now let's take a look at the Chronicle. Ayite turns against Legon in $64 million academic facilities deal he negotiated on varsity's behalf. There is a picture here of Professor Ernest Ayite, former Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Legon. And there's another story here. Dodgy recipients give away chieftaincy ministry. Full story on page 2. And finally, coming up from Nzema Chiefs to Marine Drive, Asebu visits Catherine the Great. Interesting.
Okay, on to the Independent. Partner with government to help develop Ghana. Akufo-Addo tells churches. That story is on page 2. MTN Ghana Foundation brightened the lives of 2 children with successful whole-in-heart surgeries. That's some really good news. And that's
hit the banking industry. And Ghana's economy is still vulnerable to shocks. This according to Moody's report. And Bank of Ghana begins implementing new anti-money laundering law. That's what we have also on the front page of the Economy Times this morning.
Okay, now we'll take a look at a few headlines on citynewsroom.com. First one says, government calls for dialogue with FIFA over suspension threat. There's no $160 million judgment debt over Africa Intergrass project. That's coming from the University of Ghana. Ignorance, no excuse for Otabil in Capital Bank mess. That's coming from Otu Echampong. And FIFA threatens to...
welcome to
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing great.
How are you, dear sister?
I'm fine. How are you?
Bank. Now already, the Economic and Organized Crime Office, which was told this and the parliamentary involvement. Of course, we will take your comments on our way.
Well, let me first say good morning to your viewer this morning, and also to my constituents in the Ayensu and the Eastern region. Well, the banking issue is a disturbing issue and it's still trending. Have a lot of stories and explanation from directors and workers are also showing their concern, the fact that they are losing jobs and all that. It is important we investigate to know exactly what happened. Investigation actually to get some people being prosecuted and take up measures to prevent such things from happening again. And also we know, we've heard that about 2,000 workers in the banking sector are also losing their jobs. So it's important we do the investigation. The Parliament's committee is a standing committee. I read in the newspaper it's a select committee. The Finance Committee in Parliament is a standing committee. And they have the mandate per the standing orders of Parliament and also per the Constitution, the 1992 Constitution. They have the mandate to investigate any state institution or private institution that have a working relation with a state institution like banks. You know, it's linked with Bank of Ghana, supporting them financially to be on their feet, and as a result, about 8 billion Ghana cedis is being lost. So the Parliament Standing Committee or the Committee on Finance have every right, per the Constitution or standing orders, they have the mandate to investigate and know what happened. If you read the story carefully, the chairman of the committee, who is the MP for a new job in SAF, Dr. Esibe, is talking about the fact that they look at the money lost and also how they can prevent such things from happening, and going into Bank of Ghana to find out what happened. Did they sleep on their job?